In this video, I will be responding to a guy being angry at a video game for the stupidest reasons yet again. So, I'm going to assume you already know what Don't Starve is. For those that don't, it's a hardcore survival game with a unique art style and quite a fun gameplay loop. And if you have been following Don't Starve YouTube a few years ago, you might know who Edgy Rick is. But if you don't, he was basically a channel making tutorials around the game and was also one of those people with an elitist mentality where he would get unironically pissed at you if you dared to play the game any differently than him. And at one point he decided that he hates the game for reasons that not a single person can explain. So when he quit the game, he made a petty video trying to convince his audience that the game is terrible and that they should quit too. After some time passed, he decided to delete the video and come back to the game, until it got acquired by Tencent, which is when he decided to quit yet again. However, the reasons he gave this time are completely hypocritical and don't make a slightest bit of sense if you actually have the context of the situation. I'll touch on all that a bit later on since it does appear in the video, but now he's once again trying to shit on the game by nitpicking quote issues that he never once had. So the title of this video is Don't Starve Ruined? And since we have all the context we need, why don't we jump balls deep into this shit?
Over a year has passed since Tencent acquired Klei. Did they ruin Don't Starve?
Short answer, no. Klei Entertainment, the actual development studio behind the game, still has full creative liberty and they have been pumping out new content and improving the game, which is pretty cool, not gonna lie.
Tencent has made some changes, but Don't Starve was already a game with one major issue, little to no replayability, and it still has little to no replayability.
Well, here we go. He's bitching about how the game has little to no replayability, but as you can see from his gameplay, he didn't even open the fucking game. You can tell because the crafting system and the character he plays got an overhaul some time ago. Yet this video of his is pretty recent. So you'd expect the B-roll to reflect that, but nope. On top of that, he claims that the game has no replayability, even though it has more replayability now than ever, with the newly added bosses, characters and features, which open up many new paths to take and new ways to play. On top of even that, even when he played the game back in the days, the game was rich with options and ways to play. But because he used to stubbornly stick to the same path, the game is completely broken, I guess. We're only a few seconds in and this guy is already lying through his teeth. Nice.
Now, a lot of people like games like that. They think $1 for 1 hour played is great, which from what I see, most people get 50 to 100 hours out of their $15 purchase of Don't Starve together, and they can give a copy to a friend. So by that rule, it's a good value.
So you just explained how much value one purchase of this game brings. Provided you give a copy to a friend, you're looking at 100 to 200 hours going off your logic. So you just explained how the game, even with no replayability as you claim, can give such a massive value. And if we take into consideration how he's lying about the game not being replayable, imagine what an immense value that is. But hold on guys, this is the point in the video where there is a but, and where he tries to convince us that the game is terrible. You know, a bot and this video do have one thing in common, they're both full of shit.
But I don't like that rule, and I don't think that rule applies to games that don't have an overarching story or anything like that.
Ah yes, so now let's disregard this rule because it doesn't fit my narrative. What in the actual fuck is this video? Also, sorry to burst your bubble, but Don't Starve does have an overarching story. But I'm sure you already know that, don't you? After all, you've been making videos on the game for years.
There are many games nowadays where you can pay nothing or close to it and have practically infinite replayability, such as games like Minecraft once you add in community plugins and mods.
Ah yes, because Minecraft totally doesn't cost $25 or anything like that. Oh wait, but I'd also like to point out that Don't Starve also has community mods. Ever heard of the Steam Workshop? But yeah, he's ignoring context to push a bullshit narrative yet again. Who's honestly surprised at this point? But yeah, if we're going by that logic, why spend your money on 99% of video games in existence? This is so fucking stupid. Spend your money however you want, only you can decide what you do and don't enjoy. As much as idiots like this guy want to convince you otherwise.
great. I believe Don't Starve could have been great in that same way, but Clay didn't decide to take the game in that direction with Don't Starve together.
You mean in the direction of adding mod support and frequent updates like Minecraft gets, which Don't Starve Together already has? But of course, he's going to ignore that because it doesn't fit his narrative, yet again.
Don't Starve Together's progression style is built on learning from unavoidable deaths, whereas the original Don't Starve had hints that these dangers would come.
The only hint you get in the original game is that you should find something to eat before night comes. Wow, imagine that! You have to eat in a game called Don't Starve? Damn, why didn't this game give me a hint? What the fuck?
It wasn't by any means perfect, but it was a bit better at it. Your first death, if you go into the game completely blind, will be on night 1 to Charlie from not having light.
Even though the hints for that one are pretty vague, they do still exist. Half of the first day consists of dusk, which is when most neutral mobs go to sleep in their dens and the hostile ones like spiders come out. And if you take a look at your clock, you'll notice an even darker time period, that being night. And what is the second tab in your old crafting menu? That's right, light. And if we take into consideration how much more dangerous dusk is compared to daytime, I think the game is trying to tell me something.
Your next death will be to a hound attack, and so on and so forth.
Hounds give you plenty of warning that they're coming, that's number 1. And number 2, they first come in small numbers and don't do much damage. On top of being easily distracted, so they're not an unavoidable death in the slightest.
Each of these deaths leads the player to search for a guide on YouTube, which makes it quite a good game to make YouTube videos on despite the game being tiny.
Or they can just learn the game as they go. Unless you're telling me that you didn't actually learn the game and were just re-uploading videos that you watched somewhere else.
If Don't Starve was focused on making the main obstacles avoidable deaths that the player could foresee ahead of time, it would be much less frustrating to play and could have flourished a large returning player base.
You mean like it does? You literally described the fucking game. But oh wait, I forgot, that doesn't fit into your narrative, so you're just going to pretend that water isn't wet.
Rather than a one and done player base. On top of the game's focus on very difficult to impossible to foresee dangers.
You mean a giant that growls at you before showing up, on top of your character warning you of it being a giant? Wow, how unforeseeable, why wasn't there any warning?
It hides some of its best items. The torch, the football helmet, crockpot, icebox, and hammer are all low in the crafting grid, meaning new players take a while to try them.
The game notifies you when you unlock a new item to craft. All you have to do is scroll through the menu. But yeah, this is the point that can literally be applied to any video game with a crafting system if the player decides to ignore it. So I don't see how this is the game's fault, but yeah. Funny how he never once complained about this when he was making videos on the game. Almost like it's not an issue.
Back before the farming update, this caused the majority of the player base to think farming was a good method to gather food, when it was arguably the worst method in the entire game. Farms were just the top crafting item in the food tab. There will always be better items and worse items, but there should be an effort to make these items have some level of balance, unless the goal is to intentionally add artificial difficulty to the game.
So let me get this straight. According to this guy, Clay wants to add artificial difficulty by overhauling a bad farming system and making it incredibly useful? This is literally the point he's making and he doesn't even realize it. What in the actual fuck is this video?
Which is exactly what Don't Starve is doing. It badly wants to be a hard game, but it has no depth to its one mechanical skill, kiting, so it makes up for this with all these artificial difficulty layers.
Damn bro, that's crazy. Do you mind giving any examples so that we know you aren't talking out of your ass? Oh what? You can't because you are talking out of your ass? Okay, noted.
For anyone still playing and enjoying Don't Starve, I'm going to ruin that for you right now. Build a hammer at the start of the game, hammer pig houses, and wear football helmets always for the rest of the game.
You do that and you'll run out, and surprisingly quickly actually. But yeah, this entire point was him banking on the fact that his viewers don't understand the game. Unfortunately for him, I am something of a Don't Starve veteran myself.
The players who stick around to play for thousands of hours generally like building pretty bases, barely even playing the game itself after 100 days or so in, and using it as a more complex version of MS Paint.
So now, it's a crime that people play the game how they want. What's that? You want to build in my survival games? What a total piece of shit!
I don't understand these players. If the goal is pretty bases, Minecraft is a better choice. If it's functional bases, Factorio is a better choice.
You heard it here, guys. If this guy likes a different game with the same mechanics, you must only play that game and no other game because he said so. Honestly, this guy is such a fucking bitch.
These are just the tip of the iceberg for Don't Starve's gameplay problems, and now buying the game goes straight into Tencent's pockets, which is another tendril of the Chinese government's effort to spy on everyone on Earth. There's a reason why turning data collection off turns off multiplayer on the game.
And here we go. This is the big reason why he quit the game the second time around. So now he's bitching about his data being collected, even though, newsflash, everyone collects your data. If you're watching this video, your data is being collected. If you have a Steam account, your data is being collected. If you downloaded Instagram on your phone, your data is being collected, so on and so forth. And if Tencent is the problem, it's obviously not enough of a problem because you clearly don't mind using Reddit, as shown in your previous videos, which is mostly owned by Tencent and, you guessed it, collects your data. So, what this all comes down to is he's using Tencent as a scapegoat to be mad at the game, because if he told everyone the real reason he's mad at the game, everyone would realize he's full of shit. In reality, he doesn't give a fuck about his data being collected, and is just hiding behind Tencent. He's just that pathetic.
Luckily, from what I've seen, a lot of people made the same decision I did and left Don't Starve from the English fanbase at least.
Sure, show no proof for that one either. But I like how much he left it and how much he hates it that he is now making a video giving it attention. Congratulations bro, you played yourself.
The game seems to be doing better than ever overall, but only in the Chinese market. It surprises me that there are any full-time YouTubers left making videos on Don't Starve, as the English fanbase has shrunk so much that you can't pay the bills doing that anymore.
So now, every person making YouTube videos must be making enough money to live off it, or else there is no reason to do it anymore, according to this guy. Also, considering I made more money last month than this guy did in a year, is he really want to make this point? Oh yeah, by the way, no one actually does YouTube as their full-time job. You'd have to actually be fucking retarded to have that mentality. Unless you're Markiplier or something like that. But even then, it's not a safe source of revenue and everyone with a brain knows it.
And I'm glad that Don't Starve YouTubers are all going to starve, exactly what the game they make videos for tells them not to do. To any Don't Starve YouTubers watching this, you're a bootlicking shill and you couldn't see a bad decision if it was written in bold letters on your bedroom ceiling.
Ah, so now we finally have our answer. So he's pissed that other people are doing better than he was making Don't Starve content and is now using this video as a coping mechanism. Well then, on that note, we're finally done with this dog shit video. So I guess the moral of the story here is, don't starve bad, because this guy couldn't live off Don't Starve YouTube videos. A petty video coming from a petty person, what can you realistically expect? Be sure to like and subscribe to boost me in the algorithm. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.